Hey guys, it is good to be here tonight. Good to talk to you. Man, we are in such a crazy time in our life right now where we are packing up and we're moving to Lyman, South Carolina, and things are happening at work, and just a lot of good stuff is going on. And so I wanted to get on here to talk to you guys about what's been going on with me. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that have seen my Facebook post, have seen the types of things I've been posting about thought, critical thinking, that type of things. And so I wanted to get into that tonight. I wanted to tell my story. The question I've been asked the most is what happened to you? What happened to Dustin Dean? And so I'm going to walk through that, and we are going to get to that. First, I think it's important to say that yes, um, I am an atheist. I am an unbeliever. I do not believe the things that I used to, that that I used to believe wholeheartedly. I no longer believe those things. So, what does that mean? How did I get here? We're going to get into all that. But first, if you are with me, say hey. I just want to know that you're here, that you're at least watching, if anything else. Whether you decide you never want to talk to me again after this, that's fine. Um, it saddens me, but that's fine. Let's get into it. So, first of all, I want to say, what is an atheist? What is an unbeliever? Simply that. A person that does not believe. Um, you know, I've often heard the term agnostic floating around. Hey, I've heard the term agnostic floating around whenever I'm talking with people. That simply means that, okay, if you have four levels, right? You have, I'm a theist. I believe wholeheartedly in a God, and I serve that God. Hey, babe. And I'm all in. So, and then you have what I like to say is agnostic, right? Where you don't really know if there's a God or not, and you don't even think that there is a capacity to know. It's not possible to know, right? And so that's what an agnostic is. You don't know and you can't know. An atheist is not saying there is no God. There is no God. And that is the biggest misconception I've heard. What an atheist is a person that says, hey, there may be a God, there may not. I have not been convinced. There may be a unicorn, but I haven't seen any evidence of unicorns floating around. And so, you can't say there's not unicorns. And so, anyways, I wanted to say the differences between those. You got theist, agnostic, atheist, and then there's anti-theist. Those are the people that say there absolutely positively is no God, and I can prove it. I'm not in that camp. I don't think it's possible to be in that camp. But there's people that out there that do. So that's on them. Thank you guys. I already see the support and the love out there, so thank y'all. So I'm an atheist. I do not believe that there is a God. Am I convinced that there's not a God? No. Um, I just haven't seen sufficient evidence enough for me personally to believe. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. So how did I get here? That's the big thing. Well, before I go into how I got here, I want to go into how I didn't get here, because that's also some of the biggest misconceptions I've heard. And I'll go into these deeper way later on at another time. But how did I get here? No, I'm not angry at God. Um, in the same way, I don't suppose that you are angry at Zeus, because you don't believe in Zeus, the Greek god. I do not believe that Zeus exists. I do not believe that the God of the Bible, Yahweh, exists, or any gods for that matter. And so, no, I'm not mad at a God. I don't. It's not possible to be mad at something that doesn't exist. Um, I want to run away and sin, like Jonah, I guess. Again, I'm not running away from Zeus when I don't believe in him. I just don't believe. Like there's no belief there. Now I did run from him a lot when I was a Christian. I did. I ran a lot. My wife can tell you I ran a lot. But that has nothing to do with belief in itself. Um, so I'm I have been accused of sexual misconduct and all the things that I'm just I'm reading comments. Okay, thank you. But yeah, so I've been accused of a lot. Okay, um, but not often do I get asked, "Hey, what happened?" And so I want to whatever assumptions that you have, and I'm sure you have some, that I just don't get it or that I never was a Christian. Guys, I taught this stuff for years. Like, I loved the Lord, okay? I loved God. I thought, you know, I thought it was real, 100%. I thought I had a relationship with a God outside of time, space, and matter, okay? I get it. And it's a defense mechanism that we bring up. Okay, it must be this. It must be this. He must be, doing these things. When in actuality, and what I'm going to get into, is that I came to a place where the evidence that was presented to me, and that has been presented to me since, I no longer, it no longer convinced me that it was real. And so I want to get into that. So how did this all happen? That's one thing I have been asked, and I'm proud to say that I have been asked. And thank you, Stephanie, for your comments. Um, thank you, Katie. But no, and first off, I want to say I'm not anti-theist. Okay, if you believe in God, you go for it. As long as you're not affecting other people and their rights, and the way they do their life, go for it. I'm not at all against that. But I am for promoting logic and reason and that kind of things. And so if I saw sufficient evidence, if I saw sufficient evidence tomorrow of a God, I would change my mind. I would be convinced. So what happened? I was actually doing apologetics. For those that don't know, apologetics is where you use logic and reason and arguments to defend your faith, right? And so I was having a debate, a friendly debate with a friend of mine, and he's from another religion, and we were going back and forth, and he pointed out something to me that I'd never seen before in the Bible and never defended before. And so that made me want to dig into it. And I'll just say it was the Trinity. The defense is for the Trinity. And he, not being a Christian, was easily saw how the Trinity is not in the Bible, and unless you make it in the Bible. But that led me down a path of trying to defend the Trinity, right? And looking at it scripturally, from an objective standpoint, I could not defend the Trinity. And all the verses that I'd always used to defend it were not adding up for me in that moment. Was that enough defense to say this is 100% legit and how God of the universe works? Is this what the Bible really says? And I did not know. I didn't know. At this time, let me say this. I'm still a believer wholeheartedly. Believe everything, even in the Trinity. Even though I couldn't defend it 100%, I still believed. Okay? Still had a relationship with God at this time. Was still convicted of sin, all that good stuff. And so from that point, I moved into, well, what else could I be missing, right? If I'm missing this, I've got to have something that I can stick my teeth into that I can really defend my faith with. And so I continued. And I wanted to know how the Bible was true. How did we know the Bible was true? And so I went and I dug into church history, and I dug into Bible scholarship, and I dug into all that, and I couldn't find enough evidence to convince me that it was 100% true. But I was still a believer. Okay, I was still a believer. I still didn't give it up, nor did I want to, right? And so what I started doing at that point is I went to other religions. Okay, I went and studied Islam. I went and studied Hinduism. I went and studied Buddhism. I went and studied Jehovah's Witness and Mormonism, and all the major religions that you can think of. And I tried to prove them wrong. I remember thinking to myself, if I could prove them wrong, then I know that mine's right. Okay? That's an easy one. The Bible does not contain the Trinity, somebody just said. Exactly. So, if I could prove them wrong, then I knew that I had the right one, right? And so, exactly. And so I did. I went into every other religion, and I could point out exact things that made them flaws. How could somebody believe this, or how could somebody believe that, when there's no evidence other than what this book is saying? I mean, there's other writings, but to point that it was divine and from God, the point of it was divine from God, I couldn't get there, right? And so if it was objectively looked at, their holy text and their religion in general could not be proven to be true. And I had believed my whole life that Christianity was true. And so I still believed at this time, but I had to objectively look at why I believed in Christianity, why I believed that Yahweh was God. And from that point, it's a tale as old as time. I agree. From that point, I moved from trying to defend the faith to searching for reasons to believe. And I remember sitting, or I was actually washing dishes right over here, and y'all excuse the mess. Like I said, we're moving and everything's a clutter. But I was sitting right over here doing dishes one night, and I was watching a video while I was doing dishes about Jehovah's Witness. And I remember thinking, like, how could people believe that? And then it clicked in my mind like it had never clicked before, and I felt a sickness come over me. But I thought, whoa, wait a minute. What if Christianity is wrong? What if it is wrong? Or not true? What if I have believed these things just like all these other religions believe things? What if I'm wrong? And I remember I was sick, and I thank you guys. We may need a trailer for moving, actually, so thank you, Stephen. I remember thinking, like, I wanted it to be true. I wanted so badly to be true. But from that point forward, it was no longer me trying to defend the faith. This time, it was me seeking out a reason to believe. Like, because everything I had researched, everything I had found, all pointed to this is man-made. And psychologically, these are the reasons that you believe this. Psychologically, these are the reasons you believe this. And none of it points to other than it was man-made. And so I sought God. Probably the more I've ever sought God in my entire life. I watched sermons. I have watched sermons. Countless amount of sermons. I have studied the Word, read the Word more than I ever had. I sought God in my truck when I was alone and I was driving to work, and I would cry out to Him and say, God, if you're real, I need to know. Like, show me something. And nothing. And so it came, and there was an exact moment other than that night doing the dishes that the realization finally hit me that it's not real. And it's, to me, I'm not convinced that it's real. And so to this day, I'm still open to evidence. I'm still open to anything that people have to say. I've heard most of the arguments, but I'm willing to listen. It's a hard thing for your whole identity to be wrapped up in something as grand as Jesus is and as Christianity is, and for you to dedicate your life to this thing, and for you to teach others this thing, and you come to the realization that it may not be true. And I know you've watched cult documentaries and other things where people leave these cults and they're like, how did I ever believe it? Let me tell you, it's life-shattering. It is life-shattering. It has not been an easy thing. As opposed to the names I've been called, it is a difficult thing to lose that. And for the people around you to discount you, to call you a coward, to threaten to come to your house and punch your teeth in, to go through these things, it has not been easy. Leaving the comfort is tough. It is comfortable being a Christian, especially here in the South. And so it's tough when you're not. But I can't let that stop me from me. I'm still the same Dustin I always have been. I love helping others. I love my kids. I love my wife. But I also love speaking the truth. And so I'm here speaking the truth. I'm willing and open and have been open to several conversations. I've met with pastors. I've met with my home pastor, and for him to sit in the booth and look me in the eyes and tell me I was never saved. You want to talk about something that hurts? That hurts. But I'm still the same Dustin. And so my hope is that you will still see me as Dustin. But that being said, I have met with pastors. I've went to Bible studies. I've went to prayer studies, let people pray over me, and I lifted up my hands to receive. They offer, or they said to, but I lifted up my hands to receive anything that God may give me. And of course I felt nothing, but to say I haven't sought, or to say I'm not open-minded to it, is garbage. I am open to it. And so one thing I want to do moving forward, as we move past the 20-minute mark, that was not my intention, is I want to announce something to you guys. I want to start a show. I want to keep this conversation going. I am tired of getting on Facebook debates where it's comment after comment. You're not seeing the person. You're not talking to the person. I'm tired of it. There's good discussion there, but it's just not worth it. And so what I want to do now is I want to introduce to you. I explained the difference between agnostic and atheist earlier. I'm definitely open to it. But I'm not convinced that there is a God. It doesn't matter if I'm open or not. If I'm open to gravity, it doesn't matter. It's still gravity. So if you have evidence for it, I would love to hear it. And what I'm going to do, starting on a weekly basis now, every Thursday night at 9 o'clock, just like we're doing tonight, I want to have a call-in show. You can call in. And if you have a belief, it doesn't have to be about God, but you know, since I've done this, I've actually had somebody, they might be watching, convince me that vampires were real, and so that was an interesting one. So yeah, that's me. Um, but I have an intro video, and then I'm going to come back on. I'll say a few more things, and we'll get off of here. But I just want to share with you guys where I'm at, how I got there. This has not been an easy process by any means. This has not been a nonchalant process. Okay? It has been the most difficult thing ever, but I think it's worth it because I'm truly seeking the truth and not just believing something that I've always believed because I've always believed, and because I've experienced it. People experience a lot of things. That doesn't make them true, by the way. Okay, so let's do the intro video. And my mouse dropped a while ago, so if I could find my mouse, I would get it going. But hey, I found it. All right, so let's get this going. Here's the intro video.
Is it beyond belief that I could ever feel? There's so much more to it all. You've got infinity and you offer it to me, but is your hell up above? Your heaven below?
So it was pretty simple, right? But yeah, I just wanted to say we're going to start doing this on Thursday nights, 9 o'clock, and I'm excited to see what happens of it. I want to, we could set the world on fire, yeah. I want to say this. Me and my wife, I want to address this. A lot of people have asked me, hey, how did your wife take this? And I agree. It was difficult at first. And I told her in the worst way, guys. I told her as we were sitting down to eat one night, I said, hey, babe, I think I might be an atheist. Like, I had hidden all this from her out of fear for what she might think, or would she leave me, or, you know, I just didn't know. And so I told her one night, I wish I would have taken her along the journey with me, so that she could have at least seen the study and all that went into it, other than just, hey, I think I might be an atheist. And so, yeah, after she realized that I'm still the same Dustin and that I'm not leaving her and that it doesn't mean I'm going to go start raping and killing people, I'm not eating babies or something, I'm probably going to get kicked off of Facebook for saying that, but as long as we're not doing those things, hey, he's still my husband. I still love him, and we're gonna be okay. And from that point forward, yeah, we've had some differences. We've had times of heated discussions about religion and everything, but we love each other, and we have came to a place where we respect each other. I respect her journey. She may always be a Christian. I'm okay with that. I may always be an atheist, and she's okay with that, I think. And we still love each other. And so we're still the same people. We're still the same people that you guys have always loved. We just believe a little bit differently now. I will answer a lot of people's questions. I know you have a lot. I'll go through them, and I will take time to answer each and every one of them. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm looking forward to next Thursday night, 9:30. Do you have a belief? Do you have some evidence for God? I want to talk about them. And it's not going to be me proving you wrong. And it's not going to be, you know, this is wrong because of this. And I'm open, okay? I'm open to whatever you have to say if it's good evidence. That's the part. It has to be good evidence. Think about a crime scene, right? If you have a crime scene and you're trying to figure out who did it, you can't just say, I think Joe did it over there, and somebody says, why? I'm skeptical. Why did you think Joe did it? Well, just because he did. I know he did. That's not good evidence. And so bring good evidence, and I'm ready to talk about them and why the evidences I've heard I can't accept as good evidence. And so that's it. So love you guys like I always have. Yeah, as a Christian, I hated more than I loved. I will say, as an atheist, I've been persecuted more than I ever was as a Christian, and that speaks volumes. So, anyways, just wanted to say thank you guys, love you guys, and I look forward to. I will say, Tyler just gave the best evidence I've ever heard for God. He said, "You better believe in God because we all know that that's the only way you landed Jordan." Okay, that might be small evidence. I'm just kidding. But love you guys. If you do have a question, feel free to ask before taking calls next week. I'm going to go through some of these questions and answer probably one question a week and just see what happens. So I'm also going to have some guests on if they would like to be a part of it. If you would like to be a part of it, or you don't have to wait until the night of. Message me. Say, Dustin, I want to come on there. I want to present evidence to you. I want to share something that happened in my life, or I want to share something in the Bible. I don't care. Come on, share it. Or if you want to say, Dustin, I'm an atheist too. Is atheist mingle a real thing? Good gracious. Anyways, no, I'm happily married. Thank you though. Anyways, I forgot what I was going to say on that one, but yeah, I want to answer every question that you guys have. But anyways, nice talking to y'all, and I will see y'all next week at 9:30 on Beyond Belief. Life after belief. Bye, guys.